Right, question 36. In the figure above, the circle has center O and has radius of 10. Okay, radius of 10. The length of arc AB shown in bold is between 5 and 6 with one possible integer value of x. Okay, so integer is underlined. So what's integer? Well, an integer is a whole number. Okay, pretty much. In this question, it had to be positive or negative whole number, but then x as an angle measure won't be negative. Okay, so pretty much I had to round it to the nearest whole number. Okay, for our answer. So what we have here is we're talking about arc length. Okay, so there is a formula that we can use to calculate the arc length of a circle. Okay, so let me write this down. The arc length is equal to, so if you think about arc is a part of the circle on the, it's actually a partial circumference, right? So the whole circle on the outside, that's the whole circumference, and arc is a part of that. Okay, so to calculate the arc length, what we can do is we can take the central angle, and that's x, always divided by 360, because in the whole circle, we have 360 degrees. And once we do x over 360, this will give us a fraction. Okay, we can use the fraction to multiply by the circumference of the whole circle, which is 2 times pi times the radius. Okay, 2 pi r. All right, so we have whatever fraction we get, use that fraction, multiply by the whole circumference. That will give us the arc length. Okay, so for this question, they told us the arc lengths have to be between 5 and 6. So we can pick a number between 5 and 6, right? So, let's just say, what if the arc is 5.5, right? That's between 5 and 6, right? Halfway in between. Okay, let's just pick that. And then we can go and plug in the equation here and solve for x, because we know the radius 10, so r will be 10 like that. Okay, so you can plug into the formula, you get 5.5, you go to x over 360 times 2 times pi times 10. Okay, and then we can go and solve from here. So this 2 times pi times 10, let's just go and multiply out in the calculator. So you can approximate pi at 3.14, or if you have like a pi button on the calculator, you can use that as well. Okay, so that should be approximately times 62.83. Let's give it 2 decimal point. Okay, so try to avoid any rounding error. Okay, so yeah, for this type of question, we know in the end we're gonna round it to a whole number. So there's some buffer zone for this one, and there are multiple answers that could work for this question. Okay, but when we round it, let's just give it like 2 decimal point. Okay, so it won't be too far off. And then to solve from here, we could go ahead and divide it by 62.83 on both sides. Okay, to cancel this out. Okay, we get 5.5 divided by 62.83. We got 0.0875 equal to x over 360. And to solve for x, we need to cancel out the denominator, right? So right now divided by 360, to cancel out, we multiply by 360 on both sides. Okay, so that cancels, so we get 360 times 0.0875, x is approximately 31.5. That's the answer that I have. And then don't forget, we round it to the whole number. I had to round up to a whole number, so it should be 32 degrees. Okay, so that will be the answer for this one. So depending on the number that we pick initially, if you pick some different number other than 5.5, you can do 5.7, 5.8. As long as between 5 and 6, it should work. So for this question, there are actually multiple answers. So you can either do, so everything from 29 to 34, right? Whole numbers, right? From 29, 34, they're all correct. So you can do 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, or 34. So any one of them will work. Okay, so 32 is what I have here, but it's not the only answer. We could have multiple answers for this one. Okay, Yeah, so make sure we understand this formula. Okay, and then from that we can just plug in and solve.